So let's get into the character profile
Mm-hmm.
and go from there. We've got quite a short one this week, thank Christ. So I was looking about what's coming up, who we've got coming up, blah 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 blah, and I thought the best person to do based on what we've got coming up in the not too distant future was to cover Marvel's interpretation of Zeus, because we know he's going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder at least briefly.
Yep.
There's not a lot about him, but there's some interesting stuff here. So he is a member of the Olympians. They come from a pocket dimension of our universe called Olympus. And from ancient Greek times to the Roman Empire, they were worshipped by humans as gods. Then when Christianity took over, Zeus was just kind of like, yeah, let's just leave them alone now. I'm kind of bored with humans. Marvel's Zeus is as much of a man whore as traditional mythology Zeus.
Nice.
He does shag everything, just the way it is. I'm not going to fault him for it. If I was a god and everyone wanted a bit, I can't say I wouldn't. I don't think anyone could. And I think the Roman and Greek versions of gods, where the gods did regularly just shag anything, was pretty accurate. There was one occasion where Hercules, as one of Zeus's sons, travelled. I don't know if he travelled in time or not. He travelled, maybe in time, maybe just in space. Who knows? To Earth during the Viking times, and him and Thor had some beef, and they fought. But then Odin and Zeus met off the books, and they managed to put the war to peace, and then they became allies.
Basically, two dads with teenage boys fighting.
Yeah. They were like involved in the war. It wasn't just a war between their sons, but them being like more experienced and at the age where they're moving more towards like politician than warrior, allowed them to kind of chill it out, and they've been allies ever since. So it'd be interesting seeing the film like if Asgard and Olympia are allies, and maybe Zeus like strips Thor off because he can't believe it's Thor kind of thing, or if they've never met before, or if they haven't actually become allies in this world. Who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to tell from the trailer.
Yeah. So Olympians are very similar to Asgardians. They have like godlike physiques, they're extremely strong and durable and live for a very, very long time. But even as that goes, Zeus was a step above all other Olympians. He was by far the most powerful Olympian. So like Zeus is pretty powerful, and as I said, him and Odin in the comics have a allyship where they protect the Earth from big evils such as Celestials and stuff. So it could be quite interesting to see where that leads to the conflict or the interaction between Zeus and Thor, because it could be a case of Thor's like, dude, where the fuck were you? Asgard was getting blown up and you didn't come and help us like you said you would. Or it could be a case of they've never really met, or they could just know each other, exist, and not really give a fuck about each other. It would be interesting. And also, you've got to remember that Zeus and Thor do have similar enough power sets. They're like thunder and lightning. So, like, I think we're going to have some fun with that aspect.
I wonder if the whole, like, stripping off because he didn't believe it's him because he thinks everyone on Asgard died. Potentially. It'd be interesting to see if Zeus knows Athena.
Okay, so that is an interesting point. So obviously the Eternals in the MCU are very, very different to the comic counterparts. We did discuss this. But at one point in the comics, the Eternals allowed the Olympians to take a step back from Earth, and they kind of became the intermediaries between the Greeks and the gods and the Greeks, until which point the Eternals then got treated as gods, and this pissed the Olympians off, and blah 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 blah. But there is definitely some relationship stuff.
Yeah, knowledge of each other.
But again, very different Eternals, so they can do it in a completely different way.